Welcome into Steelers Talk Yinzers. My name is Jack Sperry, and we got a great slate of Steelers rumors to cover with y'all today. We got a couple more free agency targets that we're going to be breaking down here on the show. Alex Highsmith trade rumors here coming up here. Should they trade him for a high draft pick, or should they give him that big extension? I will give you my thoughts on that later on in the show. And then also we'll finish off with some of the latest news surrounding Brian Flores. He's got a couple more interviews this week. I'll tell you which teams coming up later in the show. But before we dive into today's action, go ahead and tell me in the comments section, how likely are you to recommend this show to your friends, to your family, to your fellow Yinzers? Scale it on a scale of 1 to 10. 8 to 10 tells me I'm doing my job well, guys. That you guys enjoy the program, that you love coming to the show, you regularly visit. Anything less than a 7, give me some feedback in the comments section. I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to make this show better, to make this the best Steelers talk show on YouTube. So go ahead right now. Give me a scale of 1 to 10. How likely are you to recommend this show to your fellow Yinzers? And then if it's a bit of a lower score, give me some feedback. All right, so now let's get into today's rumors, starting with some free agency targets. CBS Sports listed Daron Payne as the number 1 free agency target for the Steelers to go get in the 2023 offseason. Daron Payne is one of the top defensive tackles not only in 2023 NFL free agency, but in the entire NFL. He is massive. He is athletic. He can affect the pocket in the passing game. I mean, he's an extremely valuable piece that the Steelers could bring in at a position that you could definitely argue there is a need there, right? DeMarvin Leal, he's still kind of young. You know, Larry Ogunjobi is presumably out the door unless they re-sign him. Both of the nose tackles for the Steelers did not play well in 2022. And so CBS Sports thinks that the Steelers should be very aggressive here and go and get a guy like Daron Payne this offseason. You take a look at his stats from this past season, 11.5 sacks as a defensive tackle. You just don't see that very often. You don't see these defensive tackles, especially guys at his size, getting into the double-digit sack numbers. He's got 5 pass breakups, 18 tackles for loss. This guy really does a great job. He's got very quick hands and feet, one of the best disruptors up the middle in the National Football League. But I think he's going to be a very tough get for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Plain and simply, guys, if you're going to have a guy that's that impactful on your defense, you're going to get him in free agency, he's going to be very expensive. And right now, Spotrac.com projects that he will make $97.5 million over the next 5 years, almost $20 million per season, which is an astronomical number there. And if you ask me, I think with Chicago, with some other teams looking to grab him, it's going to be even more than that. He's going to be one of the hottest commodities in the National Football League. And right now, the Steelers just have a bunch of big contracts. But before I go into all those big contracts here, let me know in the comments section, who is the one free agent, one NFL free agent this free agency period that you want the Steelers to sign this offseason? All right, now let's go into some of these really big cap hits that the Steelers have going into next season. You got TJ Watt, almost $30 million. Cam Hayward still over 20, right? This defense, Miles Jack over 10. Deontay Johnson, Minkah Fitzpatrick's going to be making 18. This is a lot of money that the Steelers are throwing towards people, mostly to the defense. Chukwuma Okorafor, if he stays on the roster, he's got $13 million, and that's not even counting Cam Sutton and Terrell Edmunds, who many Steelers fans want to bring back next season. So if you're going to re-sign them, you obviously have to put some pretty decent money towards those guys as well. So in my opinion, if the Steelers are going to get a guy like Daron Payne and pay someone $20 million per season, they're going to have to make some big cuts. Miles Jack is going to have to go. Chukwuma Okorafor is going to have to go. Probably Akella Witherspoon and maybe Levi Wallace both have to go. Like, there's a bunch of people that need to be gone in order for this to happen. And that's just assuming that a team like Chicago that has a ton of cap space doesn't throw a ton of money at Daron Payne and they get him anyway. So, I just don't see this happening in my opinion. I think they'll probably stay put. I think they might re-sign Larry Ogunjobi instead. He did a pretty decent job. He's far less expensive than Daron Payne. Then they'll probably go address this need in the draft as well. But I'm sorry, CBS, I just don't see this happening for the Steelers. All right, guys, and up next here, I'm going to be talking about Keenan Allen, because Keenan Allen, there's a report that the Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers, are going to be cutting Keenan Allen this offseason, which of course would make him a top free agent wide receiver. I'm going to tell you in just a second if the Steelers should go get him. But before I do that, let's have a word from our sponsor at Athletic Greens. I drink AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day, and I love it. Get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted more sustained energy throughout my day and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning, and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. AG1 combines all of your key health products in one convenient and tasty beverage. And in my line of work, guys, sometimes you have to put in those long hours. So AG1 helps me feel energized and sharp so I can be at my best no matter how busy my schedule gets. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix one small scoop of AG1 with 12 ounces of water and drink it first thing each morning. Done. Easy. Simple. I also love that it costs less than $3 a day, which is definitely less than the Starbucks that you're drinking every single morning. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients, which of course is a win-win for you and your health. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplemental routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Check it out. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. All right, so let's dive into Keenan Allen here. A very good, one of my favorite receivers in the league. He always seems to get open. He's a longtime pro, multiple-time Pro Bowler. And this last season, he had a bit of a dip. All right, now he did deal with injuries, but only 4 touchdowns, only 75.2 yards per game and 66 receptions. But you take a look at what the Steelers' wide receiver room would look like if they brought in this guy. I mean, you got Keenan Allen as your wide receiver 1, someone that gets open more than just about anybody in the National Football League when healthy. Then you got George Pickens, an up-and-coming superstar, in my opinion, at the position. And then you got Deontay Johnson in the slot, one of the best route runners in the National Football League. He was great in the slot in the second half of the season for the Steelers. I think if the Steelers could get another outside option there, I think Deontay would be excellent in the slot. But in my opinion, guys, I just don't see this happening because I don't see the Steelers using another big contract on a wide receiver. I think Keenan Allen's a really good player, but he's probably going to be asking for like $13 to $15 million this offseason. I just don't think the Steelers are going to be willing to give that up with how expensive their defense is. All these different holes that they need to fill. They need to re-sign Cam Sutton, and they kind of want to bring back most of the guys that they had on defense last season. I just don't see them spending that much cash on another wide receiver. I think they're probably going to try to address this in the draft. Maybe they'll just go straight up Calvin Austin next year in the slot. I don't know, but I just don't see the Steelers making this big of a move at wide receiver, even though the wide receiver room would definitely be scary if Keenan Allen joined the black and gold. All right, now let's shift over to some trade rumors here, and lately they've been centering around Alex Highsmith. Alex Highsmith, I think, is probably the more likely player to get traded. If there's any Steelers player that's going to get traded this offseason, I think it will probably be Alex Highsmith. You take a look at last season, he had a breakout year, 14.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, 12 tackles for loss. This guy had a terrific 2022 campaign, and I really think that he is a good player, but here's the issue. You're probably going to have to give him a contract extension here coming up this offseason, and experts believe it's going to be somewhere in the $17 million per season range, and that would kick in 2024. So you still have one more year of relatively cheap on that relatively cheap deal that he's on now in 2023, but then that shifts to the extension in 24, and that pretty much takes away any opportunity for the Steelers to sign a big-time free agent this offseason or next offseason. So, but if you trade him, you get a high draft pick this year that you can use on an edge to replace him, and then it also frees up that future cap space. So if you wanted to go get a Daron Payne this free agency period, if you wanted to go get a Tremaine Edmonds in this free agency period, you have the cap space to go do that, and you're bringing in a young, up-and-coming edge rusher to replace him. So some people would say that this would be a good idea, and I think the Steelers need to at least think about it, right? You can bring in a big-time free agent. You can be aggressive this offseason. Now, I don't think they're going to do it because I think The Steelers' defense was one of the best in football when TJ Watt was on the field last year. Alex Highsmith was terrific last year. I think that they can run that back and bring back most of the guys and, for the most part, have the same success on defense in 2023. So I think he's going to get that extension. I think the Steelers are the type of organization where if you have a breakout year, the type that Alex had this year, I think they're the type of organization that rewards that kind of production. I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to sign an extension for about $17 or $17.5 million per season this offseason. But let me know in the comments section right now what you would do. Should the Steelers trade Alex Highsmith, or should they extend him this offseason? Type T if you think trade, or type E if you think they should give him an extension. And some final points here, notes. I know we've been talking about Coach Flo a lot here on the show, lots of different interviews, all this different stuff, but it really seems like he's going to get a job now, guys. Everything is really starting to look in his favor. The Vikings are really, really interested in him. He's one of the finalists for the Cardinals head coaching position, so I think he's going to get either one of those positions. And I just wanted to say, I've said it before on the show, but I really want him to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. I really want him to be inside our organization because he's such a damn good coach, and he has an impact on the entire team, not just the linebackers, not just the defense. He helped Kenny Pickett in the 2-minute drill stuff this year a lot, and Kenny Pickett has talked about how much Coach Flo has meant to his development. But coaches this good, they don't deserve to be linebacker coaches, guys. They deserve to be head coaches. They deserve to be coordinators. They deserve to get their opportunity. And in my opinion, Coach Flores is one of the top 32 NFL head coaching prospects in the National Football League, point blank. He's an incredible leader of men. He's a great defensive mind. He deserves his opportunity, and I wish him the best of luck in the weeks to come. All right, guys, if you made it to the end of the video today, you are a true Yinzer. You're a true friend of the show. We really do appreciate the people that make it to the end of these videos because it really helps us get our videos out to new audiences. It really does help the algorithm. So go ahead, go in the comment section right now and type Yinzer for life in all caps if you made it to the end of the video. I really appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.